All right. This is the cool tool that I want you to think about. And I found it, I got it at Bed Breakfast and Beyond. And one of the things I want you to see is the serrated top. So it's not sharp per se, but it cuts because it's the serrated aluminum. I think that's a pretty good design. So here's the star of our show, our hibiscus. So we're gonna, they look really pretty, don't they? And that's probably about 2 gallons of them there. I know this isn't scientific, but certainly about, I probably should weigh it, but I'll wait when it's dry. All right, so here's what we do. And you try to stay on frame here. So you go around with it like this, and then you push the ball through. And this is what it leaves. Sorry. And then here is the ball. And you're going to save up a ton of these. So when you're trying to propagate seeds, at this stage, the ball is mature enough to dry up. So we're going to keep those separate. And then we'll put these in here. It's dry-ish. But then we're going to wash them all and then dry it out with a dehydrator. So let's do some of these. Sorry about the camera work, but I'm just getting used to. Well, I still have a tendency there, don't we? To not. Oh, that's good. All right, so it nicely fits the area. Turn it around, rotate it. And then what we're trying to do is to preserve the calyx. Then the coolest part is this little button thing. So you say, okay, I pushed it as far as I can, give it a little extra oomph. Oh, there we go, sweet. It pushed it out. And so later on, like I say, but my goal tonight before I go to bed is to do all of these. But let me just show you, if you do it, and you push the button, isn't that about the coolest thing in the world? I'm not sure how long it would have taken you to figure this one out on your own. But the problem is that you go to Bed Bath & Beyond, okay, it seems stuck. What do? I wish I had extra strength, extra length. Well, we're going to push the button, hold it back. Oh, look at that. Isn't that so cool? And out comes this big, and they make oil out of this stuff, hibiscus oil. And of course, the seeds is what you want. You dry in each seed pod. Extra oomph. There we go. Isn't that pretty cool? So we just keep doing that. Get a rhythm going. That one size fits all for the serration. That seems like the perfect thing. What do? I don't have enough left with the aluminum. Pop. So if you did it right, the calyx would not have broken. I don't consider this one a success. Probably because I didn't get all of the inside part. So that's why we'll rinse these babies out. Okay. So turn till your heart's content. Give, push. My God, isn't that about the coolest thing in the world? You know it is. So I'm going to do this for a while. See if I can get a rhythm going here. But one of the things that I'm trying to do is to have at the end a whole calyx. Isn't that cool? That would be a good name. Oh, already the attorneys are thinking. But whole calyx. That sounds like a good name for a hibiscus brand. So does that? I mean, it seems like once you know how to do this, and you just keep turning that ball till it's broken up from the walls, then you give it the little oomph. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, wrong bucket. But these are relatively dry right now, so I mean they are dry. I washed them off earlier. Let them dry. But here's what we're going to do with these, is that we're going to these are some big seeds compared to the weight of the flower. You know, I call a calyx a flower, but it's not really, it's a calyx. The flower happened earlier. That's what got it pregnant, produced the seed pods. But God, this is just great. Turn that baby. And I'm at November 5th, as we've told you. But if you went too far into the season and you there we go. And these got bad on you, you'd have funkier stuff coming out of them, like worms and seeds and stuff. See that? That's what you needed. Get a hollow looking thing afterwards. All right, putting on my glasses. Sorry about the camera movement. All right, so this is what we're going to do. First, let's take a look at what we have here from yesterday. We've got a ton of these balls that were inside of the Hibiscus Sabdariffa. So what are you going to do with all those? Well, we want to dry them out. I don't want to put them through the dehydrator, although I could do that. But what I'm going to do is put them in one of these great Trader Joe bags. And I'm just going to, every once in a while, jostle it. But let them all breathe and naturally reduce themselves. And so with this, say, well, what do I have that's that size? And sorry about anybody who makes these in the United States, but for $1 at the dollar store, you get like 2 of these babies. And they're really industrial strength. I mean, it's like way overkill. But I'm going to put one of those on there. In fact, just for kicks, I think I'll put them both on. It's not doing anything right now. Alright. So way overkill. But it'll also give me something to pick it up by the handle. And I'll put it over here where I have some of my mucuna shells drying too. Alright, so we're all done with that. Ooh, that's kind of nasty. That's not really nasty, that's just the internal flour from yesterday. I don't know that we'll be needing this right now, but we'll put some soap bubbles going in that. Just in case I need it later. Alright, so right here, here's part of the trick. I'll have some people... Borax is just boron, okay? I use the 20 multene kind. But I'm just going to put about this is 1 teaspoon. I'm going to put a half a teaspoon in here. Actually, I'm going to put another half in there too. So basically 1 teaspoon inside. So what I want to do is have a bath. And boron is known for killing molds. And it's also, I would drink this too, you know, that this is, matter of fact, I know people who drink boron diffused water every morning. So let's look at what we got. So there are all of the ones from yesterday. And rather than getting them wet and sitting overnight, I just dehulled them last night. But we're going to do them in groups. So what we want to do is do it in batches and load the trays. Now let me put in about I'm going to guess right here how many constitutes a tray's worth. And I've got a lot of trays, so I'm not really worried about overcrowding. So you want to shake. Okay. We're going to let that soak just for a second. I want to show you the situation with the... So here's the Excalibur. And it's incredible. So, well, you got the heat and the timer. And it does up to like 26 hours and goes all the way up to, looks like about 160 degrees, but it's pretty cool. And I always set it for 110-ish. And then I set it for like 8 to 10 hours. And look at this cool tray. It just sort of kind of comes up like that, just hanging loose. And then inside of one of these, when I was doing the moringa leaves, I used these bags to keep the stuff flying around. It works great. But what we're going to do is we're going to pull out a bunch of these trays, and we're going to start loading up the trays. And I'll put them over here for now. Bring them over as we need them. Might as well start off with 2. We know there's going to be at least that many. All right. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Is we're going to, whoops. These have been cleaning. In the boron water. And I won't have to throw it away at each time. Up, come back here, you bum. And back, and there you go. All right, so we'll do some more. And every once in a while, I'll change the water. All right, so while those are soaking, I really don't think we need that. It was there for demonstration purposes. All right, so with over here, now that these have drip dried, we're going to put them on heads up, because remember, with this concept, what we're really selling is the shape. Now I can imagine somebody wanting to coat these with chocolate. Wouldn't that be something? Dark chocolate? Oh man. So Whole Calyx, they'd come to Whole Calyx Corporation, or actually entrepreneurship, and they would get a ton of these. Or they might go down to their local farmer's market and find somebody like you who has made up a ton of these things. And they use them for garnish on plates in fancy restaurants. Wouldn't that be cool? Sheesh. Someone say, what? They feel like they're in some part of the world that reminds them of some exotic place. So we end up doing this for a while. We'll do this till we run out of camera. Probably, well, once I do one of these, it won't take too long. Come on. All right, could use more. Here we go. And there is weird stuff in the water, so it's good we're doing this. All right. And of course it won't matter that these things are all wet because I really have minimized the amount of time they have been exposed to water. I think that's what keeps them from being soggy and mushy. And see, isn't that cool? But you want to, they'll of course shrink a lot. But that's a tray. It's just to say we did one. So let's go ahead and take this tray and move it into the Excalibur. Right there in the middle, that's always a good place to start. Equal distribution. All right. So I think you get the idea there. And more footage will happen later after the dehydration goes. All right, everybody. It's off my head right now. But we've got a bunch of extra trays. But we got basically 3.5 trays. I think that's kind of beautiful. What do you think? There's 1, 2, 3. And then here's like a 1/2. Call it 3.5. In any event, so now we're going to work on this. Move this aside over here in the tidy area. All right, so you put the hood back on. Show you how easy this is. It just sort of balances. See? No hinges, it's just gravity and it locks in with plastic. Alright, so I think we got everything here, but it's being plugged in. Do we even have it plugged in? Ooh, that's probably not the wisest thing to do, but alright. So we want to go on the timer that's set for 110 degrees. I left us a little bit of dust there so you could see me make that line. And then we're going to move it all the way to 10 hours. And it will be at 110 degrees for 10 hours. And they're all getting air blown over them. And that's that for that. What do you think? And I'll leave this door partially opened. And so the next step will be bagging stuff up in the vacuum bags and then putting it in the freezer, marking the bags, stuffing them, vacuuming them, and then putting them in the freezer and use them over time. So that's the next step for the final segment. Well, there's always one more segment. Bye-bye. All right, how you doing? We're back with the Hibiscus Sabdariffa project. We're going to vacuum today. Here's what we got. Once I get ready to handle the stuff, it's going to consider it to be food grade. And then I'm going to be putting it into these pouches. Here's what I get from the store. They're 18 1-quart bags. And they have this special little place on them, like right over here, where you puncture it with the with this thing here. And so this will suck all the air out of it. So the idea is that I'll put in the dried fruit in here, and then get this zipper thing as darn tight as possible. Some people even use an iron on it before they start sucking out the remaining air. I might just use the back end of a spoon, but in any event, let's get it on the road. We get the Hibiscus Sabdariffa, and that's what we had from last night. Remember? Yep, there we go. All right, so this is what we had last night, and let's see what we have here. We had all those cute little rows. Of course, a couple things fell out. Not too bad, considering all that blowing air. Oh, isn't that pretty? Look at that. Okay. So those are going to go in here. Might as well just do them one at a time, right? It's not the like electricity back there is going to matter. So, there we go. So, what do you want to do here? We're going to put them in the bag. Do we put them in a bowl in the bag? I got some bowls. Now why don't we just put them right in the bag? Okay, there's my trusty water. Alright, so I'm only going to do one glove. One glove that rules them all. Oh yeah, these are extra large. They fit my large hands, and that's pretty cool. So what we're looking at there, something from Walgreens, just their generic vinyl gloves. No latex though. Alright, so let's start with our first bag. And I'm looking through the lens of the camera as I do this. So it's kind of like a delayed reaction. But I got to make sure you're all in frame, so that's kind of like the way to do it. Maybe after a while that'll be second nature. But and just put as many in there as we can. Now let's just look at one of these close up. I forgot to do that earlier. It's all dried out now. Kind of crunched up a bit. But they're for drinking, not looking. But I was thinking that it would be kind of cool to put a bunch of dark chocolate around it. And then put that on top of some ice cream. Whoops. Okay, well, that's pretty good. I guess we'll call that one bag, and then we'll suck out the air. Let's do that right now while we're thinking about it. I got a lot of bags, and these are going to be like for gifts. So let's try to seal it. There we go. All right. We'll move this aside here. Oh, one straggler. We'll put that, we'll get the second tray out. And let's just do one. You'll get the idea what 4 is like. Now right now we're hoping that this thing is going to work all right. It's a suction thing, so this should lay as flat as possible. And apparently I'm supposed to. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, I just pulled it out, so it's charging up. We'll keep doing that until the bags are real tight. Okay, so let's do bag number 2. But that's what it looks like. Might as well gloat. We'll have a tighter bag later. But right now, that'll go in the freezer once I get all the air out of it after that thing charges up. But it's food saver, you know, standard stuff. But it didn't seem like it was really expensive. I think this was like about 20 bucks. And then these, there's like 18 of them for like 6 bucks. So for basically about 25, less than $30, you can have the way to dehydrate stuff. Once you dehydrate it, now admittedly my Excalibur is expensive. I think that was in the 200s. And it's kind of weird to be viewing from the lens because everything is lightly delayed. But you get to say that you saw the hibiscus harvest of 2018, and even the processing of getting this stuff ready for perhaps Christmas gifts, or since I can deep freeze it, I don't have to really wait. Up there's my next tray. Oops. One dead soldier there. All right, this is the next bag. Since I have 4 bags ready to go, no matter what, I know the bag will hold more. That's not really an issue. Let's see if there's any juice in this one. Yep, it's got more needs more charge, and I'll do that over time. All right, let's go to the next bag. It's kind of fun to take you along with me on this thing, testing out my new gloves, or my new head camera. I got to get better with this, keeping you in frame and doing stuff. without making mistakes. All right, that will be number 3. And then here's 3.5. That'll probably be the one that Jim will drink from for a while. Leaving the other ones for gifts. But this was our quite less than a half. Well, maybe half. All right, so let's go ahead and stick those in. I think you get the idea, but hopefully there's some good music playing that is keeping you hanging on. Well, once I suck all the air out of this right here will be the big reveal. Let's take a look at this. And then I will, like I say, suck all the air out of that with the device once it charges up. Alright, so we're back again. And I'm going to show you, this is what I did while we were away. I did the vacuuming. So I want to show you now that it's got a bit more power. It really does suck the air out of there. So let's do one of these together. Right over the hole. I think that means it's sucked all it can suck when it makes that noise. Let's try it over on this one, what we already did a little bit earlier of. See if it gets down to that same sucking sound. Yep. Alright, so let's try this one here. Look how flimsy that is. See if it's just a matter of how much air is left. Nope, needs to charge up more. So in any event, you get the idea. This is what the finished product will look like. All crinkly. So you really do want to write on there before you pull all the air out. But that'll keep forever in a vacuum. Alright?